All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to Q&A. This is a new series. I guess it can't be welcome back, but this is going to be Q&A. I'm going to take questions from either Reddit or from email. So go ahead and send emails on any questions that you're shy about potentially getting advice for, and I'm going to sprinkle them in, do some Q&A videos as well as some life advice videos. But essentially I want to make this a long form series, and maybe for the shorter ones I'll just stick with like life advice, but for the long term ones I want to talk about some of the bigger topics. And there'll be probably multiple videos on certain topics, like for instance today's video is on dating, right? I'm not going to cover every single thing in like a 20-25 minute video on dating, and so there's a lot of questions that could be potentially about that. So like I just said, if you have any questions about anything in particular, it could be dating, fitness, food, just career stuff, life stuff, reading, I don't know, anything out there, Call of Duty even, like it could be about anything. Let me know in the comments or let me know in questions. Feel free to send some emails my way at thedynamiteyt@gmail.com. All right, so starting us off right here is a question from Reddit. My female friend keeps calling me a cutie every chance she gets. Am I reading too much into it? What the heck? The description, they go, so I met a friend at a language exchange event and it's been fun. I noticed that she's sprinkling in more compliments to me, like "you look so hot with that haircut" or "good morning cutie" when she texts me. I don't know if she likes me, and I admit I like the attention, lol. I've never made a move on a girl. I normally wait for one to make the first move. Given how I don't want to blow things out of control, any ladies please chime in. Well, obviously I'm not a lady, but I do want to chime in here. Bro, okay. Yeah, she likes you, okay? First off, in my experience, if a girl's texting you good morning, you're in her head, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind, right? Like, are you saying good morning to someone you don't care about, right? Are you messaging someone? Are you giving compliments to someone you don't really care about? I know that there's a lot of girls out there, and guys, I guess. There's a lot of people out there who are very flirtatious without trying to be, and they kind of cover that with like, oh, I'm just a nice person. And like, potentially that could be happening, right? I guess the way to know for sure, like for absolute certain, would be to see how she treats other people. Now, seeing as how you met this person at a language exchange event, you probably aren't like super buddy-buddy, because it's not like you went to school with them or church with them or anything like that. So it's not like you can see them in many lights. The best way to be sure, in my experience and my personal opinion, what you should do here is basically text them back and be like, do you want to hang out? If you like this person, if you like this girl, ask them out, right? And it seems like you already have a fairly good shot, considering the fact that they, are giving you a lot of attention. It seems like you got a pretty good shot of them saying yes, because, if someone's texting you good morning, they probably are down to hang out with you at the very least. My best piece of advice, I guess, here would just be to make a move, just ask her out. It doesn't have to be like a "will you marry me," but just ask her, hey, do you want to get coffee? Do you want to get food? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best course of advice. That's the best thing that I would do in this particular situation. And so, for a lot of you guys out there too, like, oh, maybe she doesn't, like, I don't know if she likes me or not. If you're in a similar situation, it's like, just ask her out. Especially if you're into her, just ask her out. Of course, if you're not into her, if you're not interested like at all, then yeah, don't ask her out. Just kind of make things, like, keep things as straight as possible. Just be like, yeah, like, you're just a good friend, and like try to friend zone her, I guess, essentially, if you're not super interested. But like, yeah, if you're like on the fence, or if you definitely like her and you like her, like, what are you waiting for? Like, that's my only question for you. I'm 26 and a female, and I'm obsessed with a guy, 28 male, that has shown me clear signs of not feeling the same for me, and I'm degrading myself by continuing to give him attention. We started hooking up about 5 months ago, and he clearly stated that he was not looking for a relationship, which I was okay with. Things have changed for me, and I'm ready to settle down now, but he has shown no interest in doing so. I'm in complete limerence with him, and I know that I'm wasting time when I could be making room for the right partner. We hung out with mutual friends the other day, and he confirmed that he has been seeing someone else, followed by us hooking up. Interesting. That broke my heart, especially because I haven't. I just really can't picture myself wanting to be with anyone else, and I'm so confused about my feelings. I know I need to drop him and move on, but there's something that is making it difficult for me to do so. Any advice on how to move on would immensely help. Thank you in advance. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of tough. First off, as a guy, obviously I've never been, on the receiving end of a girl who's been like this obsessed, I guess. And it's kind of interesting to see like from a girl's perspective. I get it. They, were hooking up like for a while ago. And it seems like, yeah, he just was never really interested. I guess, like, you know, in hindsight, the best course would be to like not hook up with someone unless you're like at least in a relationship, because otherwise you end up in situations like this. I know that can't be like the best case for every single person out there. And, you know, I guess human beings have needs. So it's like, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, I'm not going to tell you not to. I get it. You know, it really sucks that he kind of confirmed that he's seeing someone else following you guys hooking up. It's just like, I think you're kind of putting too much into it though. And I know you're not trying to, maybe it's because you guys like hooked up that you have such, you know, a reliance and dependency on him right now. But man, I gotta tell you, like, the best case is to move on, you know, like I would just give him like one last chance. Just be upfront to him, kind of like the advice in the first question, but like be upfront with him and just tell him how you feel. Like, hey, I'm interested in you, you know, like I want to get to know you better. I want to date you. I want to, you know, be your girlfriend, things like that. And just say that straight up to him. And if he's confused, if he's wanting someone else, then you have your answer and you can move on. I think currently in this limbo stage where it's like, oh man, he's seeing someone, but I still like him, but he doesn't know that. Like, it's just too many like variables, too many questions. The best case, man or girl, would be to just be honest with them. You know, one of the comments in the reply says, you're obsessed with the fantasy version of him, not the reality of him. It's not that he sucks or whatever. He just doesn't want you. And, you know, maybe you liked him when you were hooking up for those months, but you got to do what's best for you. You know, my best case is to talk to someone about this, you know, your female friends, and I don't know, maybe a therapist or something like that. It's really easy to just like want what you can't have. But man, if he's not interested, you have to move on. Okay. And like, there's no one else. Like, there definitely is someone else. You're going to find someone. You're 26. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to find someone. I'm sure you're attractive. You're going to find someone where it's like you're going to find someone. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There's literally nothing else. Like, you're going to find someone. You know, you're going to drop this guy and move on. It's just, obviously it's difficult. I wouldn't say like distract yourself. I would say like you should like look the situation in the mirror and be like, yeah, like I gotta move on. I gotta meet some other guys. Put yourself on an app, you know, ask some mutual friends to set you up, something like that. You know, once you find the right guy, like things like this, it's gonna be completely fine. This next one's a long one. I think I'm falling for my best friend and I'm not sure what to do. For context, I'm 37 and male. She's 30. Literally known her for 15 years through family. She's my sister-in-law's cousin. We didn't really start hanging out until she moved to my city and she asked me to visit one day about 4 years ago. She moved houses a while back last year and we began to spend more time frequently, and then we talk almost every day on the phone. He started to feel romantic feelings towards her and thought maybe he was confused, but then he saw a horror movie with her and they went into it with no romantic feelings, but then he went home thinking about her differently. Interesting. We saw each other again the next morning and I had contemplated asking her out, but I wasn't sure if it was the right move. Every time I considered testing the water, she would be getting to know someone, so I didn't bother her. Okay, interesting. After that weekend, the following Monday, she tells me she went on a date and told me how nice the guy was. In the past, she would tell me about her dates and it wouldn't faze him at all. He would be happy for her, but now he felt very jealous. It's been eating him up all week. They're spending the day together hiking, but now he's going to go visit. She asked him to come over, but then she's going on a date with another guy on Sunday. Interesting. What do I do? Should I say something, or would that be selfish of me to say something now? I just don't want this to be something I regret. If I choose not to say anything at the same time, if she likes this guy and wants to see where it goes, don't want to get in the way of that. Well, this is tough. Basically, long story short, he's known this girl for 15 years and it's kind of like out of nowhere for her to just, you know, all of a sudden be like, hey, I might kind of like you. The absolute first thing you have to do is be 1,000% sure that you like her. Okay, make sure it's not a crush. Make sure it's not a phase. Make sure it's not just like you're, you know, feeling some type of way about just women in general. Make sure that you actually like this specific girl. It seems like it because you're jealous, right? Like you're jealous of her going on a date right now. So that's obviously a first good sign, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily like in love with this girl. And I'm not saying you have to be in love, but you definitely have to have a strong interest that is not fading like tomorrow. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, it really seems like you're in the friend zone right now, okay? It seems like she completely doesn't acknowledge anything weird about like you hanging out with her one-on-one. It seems like you're going hiking, seems like you watch movies together, like It seems very, very friend-zoney, and yeah, that's gonna be kind of tough. You're basically going to have to ask her for in a very abrupt change in your relationship of 15 years. And that's a long ass time. Okay. And that's not going to be easily receptible by anybody, right? Nobody's going to just suddenly all of a sudden be like, oh, hey, yeah, we're just friends for 15 years, but like, oh, you like me? Like, yeah, okay, I like you too. Let's go out. I think that's the ideal version that you're probably hoping for in your head, but realistically speaking, bro, like that's not going to happen. My best case of advice here is to be straight up honest with her again. I would slowly do it though, however, not in the case of the first two. I would slowly drop more and more hints. Maybe pay for her on your next like movie date. Maybe ask her for like next time you go to get dinner, don't go to McDonald's, take her to like a nicer restaurant. Maybe you start dressing nicer. Maybe you start gymming more. Maybe you start talking to her less about your, dates and girls and stuff like that. Maybe you start to kind of distance yourself from being like her best friend. You're not like becoming a hater or anything, but you're not her best friend anymore. You're not, in her corner all the time. Like, yeah, go on that date, or like, oh yeah, your boss sucks. Like, you're not always doing that. That's like boyfriend stuff, right? I mean, the second part at least. You're not her boyfriend. Okay, you're not her boyfriend yet. Your best case here would be to, create some distance, work on yourself in the meantime, and then come in like out of like a little bit of like dropping hints, maybe like a month or so of dropping hints, like, yeah, like the reason I wanted to see you like much more often than before, and the reason why, blah blah blah, is because I'm kind of interested in you, and I know we've been friends, but I would like to get to know you, or not get to know, I guess, because you already know her. I would like to be with you in a more romantic and a more official sense, and kind of just leave it out there for her, I would just tell her how you feel, be straight, don't sugarcoat it, and definitely be confident in it. Okay. It's not worth, I don't know. It's not worth like, oh, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't want me. Like, just ask her, and if you've been friends with this girl for like 15 years, she's probably going to at least be cool with you, even if she's completely repulsed and like, oh, what? Like, how do we not do, like, I don't know. I would just ask her, and if she's any form of like a decent human being, she's not gonna laugh in your face. She's not gonna do this, do that. She's gonna be like respectful. It's either gonna be like oh, I haven't thought about it, let's see how it goes, or it's gonna be like, oh, I've been thinking the same, let's do it, or it's gonna be like, oh, I thought about you before, or I never thought about you, but like I'm just interested in this other dude, or something like that. And yeah, I think that as long as you play things right, as long as you're confident in it, it should be fine. Okay. And I don't think you have to worry about this super, super much. Just honestly, honesty is the best policy, and just be confident in your approach. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't be like rubbing your hands together and stuff like that. Don't be none of that nervous stuff. Just be yourself, be confident, and you can't control every outcome. So let's see what she says. All right, we got one more question here. How to deal with insecurity after a bad date. Hi, I was on a date and it didn't go as expected. I was very insecure, and as a result, I feel like I screwed up. It makes me doubt myself, especially how I will feel on future dates. How do you deal with this feeling? Any tips to regain confidence after such an experience? I think we've all been there, no matter how old or young you are, you've probably been on a bad date, and you've probably been part of a bad date. It sounds kind of cliche, but I think the important thing to remember here is that we're all human, okay? We're all gonna fart at random times. We're all gonna sneeze at random times. You're probably gonna like spill water in some important business meeting at some point in your life, okay? We're all human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect, and that's the point, right? A bad date, like dates are just in general like the same, okay? It's easy to feel like you screwed up. It's easy to feel like, oh man, like I really messed this up by saying something or by doing something wrong. And truthfully, dude, like the honest answer is that you just bounce back. You just deal with the feeling of like, not everybody's perfect. I'm going to mess up again. That person's going to mess up again. Like the most perfect looking person, the most perfect funny person, like they're going to have off days. Okay. Everybody is going to mess up in some way. Dust yourself off. It's literally fine. And the best way to look at this, in my personal opinion, would be to see this experience as practice. Like see this experience as like, oh shoot, like that sucked, but here's what I did wrong and here's what I can do better. And if you look at it that way, there's not much you can look at where it's like a waste of time or a negative output or anything like that. Like, yeah, maybe it sucks a little bit that you felt like you wasted this time. And maybe, if this person really was like the person of your dreams that you went on this date with and you really messed it up, like there's nothing wrong with like trying again, and even if this person like was the person, then like your bad date, your bad experience, it shouldn't matter in the long run, right? They should still like you. They should still want you and want to see you again. So, you're probably just being too hard on yourself, to be honest with you guys. A lot of people are just feeling this, right? A lot of people will feel this at some point. A lot of first dates are bad. A lot of married couples I know, their first date was terrible. One person like forgot their wallet or something. It's not the end of the world. Don't be too hard on yourself. I don't know how old this person is, but yeah, let me know what you guys would do in any of these situations in the comments down below. Before I go, just want to remind you guys again to submit questions for anything that you specifically have any questions about. It could be anything, and I want to give my opinion on that, kind of just turn this into like maybe a weekly series or something of like long form content where you guys just get something juicy out of the week from me. So I don't know, that sounded kind of weird, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Just hopefully you get some like useful tips, useful information, kind of like a Woody's Gamertag Mail Monday series, but just longer form. I think longer form content is kind of thriving more on YouTube, and some of my recent videos have not been performing up to par. So I do want to make this, I do want to do what I'm doing, but I do want to grow at the same time. I'm a little tired of the stagnation. So yeah, hopefully you guys like this video, share this, subscribe, leave comments for the algorithm. If you made it this far, you're probably a real subscriber, a real fan of this channel. So I really appreciate you, and I'll see you guys next week. I'll try to do this kind of video. I'm going to aim for once, maybe twice a week. Okay. We'll start there and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of the day and rest of the week, I guess. And I'll see you guys later. Peace, and peace.